Welcome to my new Jaguar show. It's going to be Duuuval against y'all. This is episode 1. How y'all doing, man? I'm your host, Zach. You can find me on Twitter at blind_side_73. You can find all of the teams towards the titles over on all of our other content for all the other sports teams y'all are interested at towards the titles on Twitter. So for this episode, we're just going to start out slow, and then we're going to get into it as it gets going. But first off, we're going to talk about our Jacksonville Jaguars, our post-draft needs. I mean, OTAs have pretty much started, but we still have some needs that we can get throughout free agency or trades and everything. So we're going to go into that. So, but if you like any of our other Toys and Titles content, be sure to check out our website at toysandtitles.com. If you're watching on YouTube, you got to like and subscribe. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. And then if you want to interact with us more directly, you can reach out to me on Twitter or Coach Sheps on Twitter, and to get in our Gilda chat. We have a lot of deals and new ideas that you guys would really be interested in. But to start off, man, let's start off with this Duuuval. Let's get it. All right, so what we need to do with Jacksonville Jaguars, even though with the draft over and OTAs around the corner, there are still a few needs that we need to if we want to further ourselves and get past the divisional round this year. Our biggest needs probably this year are our edge, nickel corner, our guards and DT. So I'm going to start out with our edge rushers, and then we're going to go from there. So with our edge rushers, even though we still have Josh Allen for at least a minimum a year, and having Trayvon Walker in year 2, and pass rushers do better year 2, and then signing Abdullah or drafting Abdullah in the draft, we had a few people, but it's really a lot asking just for a rookie to be our third option with our loss of Arden K going to our rivals, the Titans. That still hurts me. But there are a few options I feel like we still could do to further enhance our pass rush. To start out with, I'm gonna do our 2 hometown favorites. So of course we could always go out and sign, bring back Ngakoue. The issue with Ngakoue is he still has our issue with run defense. So he would be strictly a third down rusher, passing down rusher, or while is good. He wants to be a starter. So I feel like that could hurt us with the future, especially with our limited cap space this year, and then with Trevor's contract coming. He may not be the best option, but he is consistently getting at least 8 sacks a year. So I feel like he would help us for a pass rush standpoint. But if that's always going in for, it'd be fine. But anything else more elaborate, I feel like it's going to hurt us a little more. Another option would be for the other hometown, we can bring back Dawon Smoot. I mean, he did tear that Achilles late in the year, so he may not be 100% by the time the season starts. And going off our schedule, we kind of need him early. So I'm on the team that we should sign him. If we bring him back, we should bring him back later. I'm just not sure how healthy he'd be early. He'd be great for like the playoff run, but we might need to hold off on him just a little bit. I do like Smoot, but I mean, with that Achilles, we don't know how good. I mean, James Robinson last year came back early, but then you saw him last year, he hit the wall, and then we ended up trading him. So we always got to be careful with those Achilles injuries. There's also, I have a few other older veterans I feel like we should sign for that could fill the Arden Key role perfectly. I mean, we have the Melvin Ingram out. I mean, this man, every time, like, he signs late and then he still balls every year. So I feel like he is a legit option. So is JPP. That's not it. Again, he would only be as a backup situation. No, I was trying to, like, as a ring chaser, I feel like that would be a good option for us. Our biggest that's our one biggest week is third down pass. We gotta get off the field, and that's what he's always been good at. But again, he's an older veteran, so it would be only like a 1-year deal for him and Melvin Ingram. And so I feel like we could, but I mean, if we're going for it all this year, this would be the year to sign them. I really wanted Calais Campbell, but of course he signed with the Falcons, even though after we brought him in. So he would have been a good presence, but we need a veteran leadership on the D line, minimally, and then of course on top of that, you need to be able to do pass rushing. Then there is one big trade idea I had that I feel like we could work, but it's going to be costly in the future, and that'd be to go trade with the Washington Commanders and go get Chase Young. There, he's on the trade block. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option. The issue with him, of course, would be the fact that he's either going to be a 1-year rental and he's gone, or B, he's going to come in and he's going to want to be the starter. And with Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker on the outside, he probably would not be the starter. Maybe he could beat out Josh Allen, but I personally don't think with all of his injuries he's at that capability yet. I feel like he could be. But so if we wanted to be for the future, it'd be if we could know we were going to resign him, then I'm all for go getting Chase Young. Because then we unfortunately would have to let Josh Allen walk, but then you'd have Chase Young and Trayvon Walker as a future outside linebackers for our edge rushers. Either one of these is good, but I feel like me personally, I'm going the Ngakoue route. I mean, he knows us. He's from Jacksonville. I mean, I know he had a terrible falling out with everybody with giving his money, but he's been pretty much a journeyman bouncing around since we traded him. So I feel like he would fit our system best. I mean, him and Josh Allen, we know they fed off each other before. That was actually Josh Allen's best year, his Pro Bowl year, his rookie year. So I believe all that was probably the best. But that's so I feel like him, and then short of him, I'd go with the veteran player there. So go get Ngakoue or not Ngakoue, sorry, JPP, and just have him come in and just run it. Just like you're in third downs only or passing downs, you're just here to rush the passer, not run about any run defense. I feel like that would fit perfectly for our scheme and what we're trying to do. And then our second biggest need is our nickel corner. While we have drafted Anthony Johnson in the later rounds, or Antonio Johnson, he said all of our coaches have said he's a safety, not our nickel corner. So as of now, looks like our starting nickel corner is going to be Harrison. We all know how we feel about Harris. I mean, he's okay. Or Herndon. We all know how he's like, yeah, he's not great, but he's not terrible, but he's adequate. But we should look to upgrade. But until the season starts or until we're closer, we won't know. So unless we're running with those two, because Darius Williams and Tyson Campbell are outside corners. It's locked in. They do better. We need to not keep Darius in the slot. It saw during the early parts of the year, it didn't work until we moved him outside. And then when Griffin went down, and all of a sudden it was booming so much better. So when you keep that lineup until replace our nickel, I think we need to go. There's a few options we still go. LaMarcus Joyner's still out there. I mean, he's not great, but he'd be an upgrade over Herndon. There's Harris out there, or Harris is out there. Casey Hayward's out there. Either one of those guys. I feel like would do adequate or at least give us some proper competition within for our nickel position, because nickel with today's NFL, everything's so spread out that you need at least 3, sometimes even 4 good corners. And I feel like Herndon is a great 4th corner. I don't like him as our nickel because all that happens is you get all like Keenan Allen's go in the slot, or CD Lamb goes in the slot, and then they'd eat all game. So I feel like we need to upgrade with that, and so like either one of those options would be great. Feel like this is what we need to do, especially if we want to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs again and beat them again. We need another corner. We need to upgrade it. But that's the best we can do with that for now, because I mean we're at this point where a lot of the elite corners obviously are gone, or they don't even leave the teams without a free agency on the draft. And with deciding to go offensive tackle and tight end and then running back in the draft, which all 3 of those players, Antonio Johnson, Brenton Strange, and Tank Bixby, are all going to be great players for us. I'm glad we got them, but I feel like by doing this, we did miss out on a good opportunity to get a elite corner, get like a Brian Branch, like a lot of us in Duuuval Nation we was talking about. but we still gonna support no matter what. But so if you like this type of content of talking about Jaguars or any of your other teams, and you want to become of the Toilets to Titles tribe, or we have a Patreon, that's patreon.com/toilet to titles. We have range going from $1.50 a month all the way up to $20 a month. And of course, the higher you pay, the more reward special things you get. Starting at like $1.50, you get invited to the exclusive chat, which has like exclusive Frankenstein League. We have $3. You can do waiver pickups, like a special that you won't see on YouTube or anywhere else. Get free merch. You start doing $5 a month. Draft advice for $7.50 a month. And then free entry into our Frankenstein Fantasy League, which is this league's something you've never seen before. It's a whole different item. Would normally just to get in is a $25 value. If you do it through Patreon, you get $10. I mean, that's a $50 difference. I mean, I know everyone's trying to save a little money, but I mean, that's a deal right there. I mean, I wouldn't pass up on it. And then if you go up to 20, you get 101 roster analysis, and then 30-minute, and then we get like an episode that we break it down just for you on the Patreon's account. So I mean, be sure to check all those out. Anything like if you have questions about it, reach out to me on Twitter or Coach Sheps on Twitter, and we can help you become a part of that. Even if you don't want to do Patreon, if you want to become just the guild chat, we can help you with that too. All right, so the second part, there are also a few more positions I feel like we need to look at. We need to also look at guard. I mean, we got Mr. Smoothie King himself coming back from his injury. So Ben Barch, but coming back with injury. Coach Peterson said he's not sure when he's going to be fully healthy for that. So as of right now, it's still Shatley starting at left guard, which Shatley's adequate, but I mean, so is Smoothie King himself. So we can still upgrade that. But we don't. So, but there's still a few options we could do that could upgrade it. So, all right. So we have Justin Pugh who can always come in, or Roger Stafford. I feel like both of those guys are legit starting options for us at guard. And even on the other side, Sheriff won't have much longer in him, so he's getting up there as offensive lineman. So we need to make sure both these are strong. Both guards are strong, so play strong. So I mean, we got the franchise with Trevor in the back. We need to make sure he's protected at all times. Even with Cam Robinson's suspension, which we still have not heard how long its suspension will last. So, but who could shift a guard? I'm not a fan of it, but I've seen a lot of people like maybe shift him when he comes back. That way we can still start Little, who I think is our future left tackle, and Anton Harrison on the right side. So I feel like if we could get Cam, because most likely this is going to be his last year. His cap hit is, if I remember correctly, $22 million, and if we save $17 million if we cut him next year. So most likely this is going to be his last year, Duuuval. So I feel like one of our best options would be to, when he gets back from this suspension, no matter however long it is, to have our line be Little, Robinson, Fortner, Sheriff, and Harrison, which would work. But if Robinson is not willing to transfer or to change positions, become a guard for this season, for his last year, I feel like even with with Barch and Shatley, I feel like it's still our guard position is really weak, so we need to work on that. Would be our best option to sign that. And then finally, we're going to wrap it up with, I think our backup DT situation was going to need some help. Well, depending on who we draft for an edge, some of our like if we get Smoot, we can put Smoot inside on passing downs, so it wouldn't be that big of an issue. If he's close to 100%, most likely he's probably going to be like 70. I feel like he could actually, but barring that, I feel like we need to look at like Ndamukong Suh, who's already said he's not doing a training camp. He wants to play later in the season. So I feel like he would be good as like a veteran defensive tackle, as like he's trying to chase a ring, get more rings for him. take like a Corey Peters role from last year, have it be something like that, so it would work for us. Or the other option would be Hakeem Nicks. He's not as good as he once was, but I feel like he would be an adequate backup DT defense tackle for us. Because with their starting line, because Foley Fatukasi didn't do what we thought he was going to be. He wasn't as big of a pickup as we thought. So with him and then Hamilton just getting re-signed, that's good for starters. So we're not looking for like any of the elite D tackles or anything, but we need something or someone who would help if Foley misses games again. Adam Gossis held his own last year, but he's not best suited for like run stopping. He's more of like a pass rushing defense tackle, which is good, but at least the team's just running it down our throats when he's in. So we need somebody a little stronger for that aspect. I personally would go with Nakankum Suh. I mean, because he's a veteran. He knows that. He's been there. He's been in big games. I feel like he could give us a production just like Corey Peters did for the against the Titans in the last game of the season, and help us just have a game where he just dominates, just like a flashback game. Turn back the clock, as they say. And so for that, I would get him and have him just be the backup, and just you're here just for this. You're here to help stop the run. You're here to clock space. He pretty much helped with the Eagles during their Super Bowl run last year. I feel like he could do it again for us. And then like I said, with the guards, I would look at Justin Pugh, but if he doesn't show up, I mean, I would really look into moving Cam over. If he wants to stay, that's what it's going to be. Because going off of Walter Little's last year, he was better. I feel like we kind of panicked when Cam had his best year when we paid him, but I feel like after this year, if the Cam's gone, it's Walter and Harrison for the future. And then in case I didn't, we also have for the nickel. I also feel like we need to go get Casey Hayward. He's adequate. He can do. He's a veteran. He can help teach some of these young guys we drafted, see what's going on. Show them how to be a pro. But for that, I feel like that's our best options for that. Thank y'all for listening to me rant. We're going to be doing these shows every week. On Blindside, check me out on Twitter. Make sure to check out all the Toilets and Title stuff on Twitter. And good luck to y'all.
What's up, Title Tribe? We appreciate you watching the show. If you want to catch up on all of our college football content, make sure you subscribe to the CFB Nation by clicking their link below. Make sure you subscribe to the Toilets Titles Podcast Network by clicking our link below. And make sure to catch our other content by watching these videos to the side.